It was National Signing Day across the country, including over at Miller, where the Buccaneers had 6 football players heading to the next level. That includes prolific quarterback Andrew Body, who signed to play for Texas Southern on the FCS level. The other Miller signees include Adrian Lloyd, heading to join his bigger brother Bubba down at Texas A&M Kingsville. Jayshon Trimble heading up to play for UT Permian Basin. Austin Lavelle heading to go play for Cisco. Gabriel Joseph going to Sul Ross, and Albert Pena heading to Manchester University. Over at Flower Bluff, the Hornets had a whopping 7 signings, including defensive back and also receiver Rayden Campbell, who's headed to play for Incarnate Word in San Antonio. The Hornets had 3 other football players, including Wade Avery heading to Briar Cliff, Gotti Green going to Tyler Junior College, and Isaac Miles signing with Hardin Simmons. Softball player Sophie Campbell heading to play Division I as she's set to become a UTSA Roadrunner. Volleyball's Callie Nins is heading to St. Mary's in San Antonio, and track and field's Stacy Jorgensen heading to Lenore Ryan. And over at Beeville, the Trojans quarterback Willie Harper signed with Mississippi College, and running back and receiver Jalen Spicer is headed to Blinn Junior College. So congrats to all of those that signed across the area. You can head on to our website, KIIITV.com, to see coverage of the other signings. For 3 News, I'm Chris Thomason. Back to you.